friends are heathens, take it slow.
What is going on, everybody? Wow. It's hot. The downside to owning a black car that you park outside is that when it's hot outside, it's even hotter inside, period. So, I'm going to roll this window down. And today we're just going to be making some small repairs on the car, mostly electrical work. I'm going to be I'm going to be cleaning out the car too, because there's been just stuff has been building up in here. Like, I've got a leather jacket in the back seat and some stuff from my last job, and it's just been just sitting around, and it's time to clean it out. That's kind of important. The other thing is I want to go ahead and put some lights underneath the dashboard and the seats, and I've been thinking about underneath the doors as well, just so that when the doors open, underneath the seats and the dashboard, some light spews out. It'll be white light. I am going to be using some white lights for inside of the car. No, you know what? I think I'm going to stick with red. I don't know. I'm probably going to have to order some more lights, is what I think is going to have to happen. I get them in these nice little rolls right here, and when they show up, they are all ready to wire in and go. So I might have to get some more. Well, no, I won't need some more vinyl tubing for inside the car. That's just for outside in the engine bay. I had to order some zip ties because the lights that I'm planning on putting up underneath the hood, I've got some underneath the hood right now. They're inside the actual engine bay. What I'm going to do is put in more around some of the shaped edges underneath the hood. So those I'm probably going to go ahead and put in today. And I don't know what else. I don't know what else I'm going to do just yet. I'm having to plan these out a bit, I guess. I don't know. I'm wanting to plan them out. I'm bored. That's the whole reason for this. I had somebody ask me the other day, how fast is the car? Well, it's not really built to be a fast car. It's a chaser. It's a city chaser. It's a high maneuverability car, and it doesn't really care about going fast on the interstate. That said, I'm bored and I want something to do, and I'm building probably the last car I'll be able to build for quite a while, because once I get to Japan, I don't know how long it'll be before I have a sustainable income that I can afford to start playing with cars. So until that day comes, this is probably the last car I'm going to get to play with, and I've only got about 6 more months to do that. So I'm just kind of doing whatever I want, and I've had lights sitting around, and it's not like the car's going to the scrap heap when I get done with it. So I'm having fun with it, making it look nice, and making it look interesting anyways, and that's about it. But today I'm very hungry. I want to go get some food, so that's exactly what I'm going to go do now. And I'll probably get some electrical connections first, and then I'll go get food. And I don't know what order I'm going to be doing things in, but just, it is what it is. Anyways. Okay, so much how, like, the engine bay has these red lights that are around it, and because the camera is not too good at picking up light, it's really hard to tell, but there's almost enough light, even using red LEDs instead of white LEDs. There's almost enough light in the engine bay for me to actually work on something in the engine bay. Now, the resolution to this is going to be to mount lights in the hood as well. So that is going to come possibly tonight. I might wait until I get down to Florida and then do a video with my brother and install those then. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that, but We'll see. I mean, something may happen, something might not happen. I have undertaken a project tonight for the interior, so I'm not sure that I will get to under the hood tonight, but and I still do have to work on the idle air control valve tonight, so we shall see. Now, I have already started to gut the interior. I've already pulled all the seats out. The carpet's going to be coming out here in just a little bit. But, and now there's too much light for the camera. Hold on. But if you'll notice, there are some zip ties that have been mounted to the bottom of the seat, and you can't really see these rear ones too well. Hold on, let's see if we can fix that. There have been some zip ties that are mounted to the front and the back of the seat on the bottom sides, and what we are going to do is the same concept that is inside the hood, we are going to do inside of the vehicle or inside of the car, but it's going to be hidden. And there's too much light. These light filters, man, they're just not that great on these smaller cameras. But so underneath the front two seats, when the doors open, we're going to get a nice red glow. And then the same thing with underneath the dashboard for the driver's side and passenger side. Now, what I've been thinking about, and I'm not entirely sure that I will actually do it, is lights underneath the door sill right here. So it's very possible for me to actually trim this door sill a little bit, and let's try to make sure that there's light. So underneath here is all plastic, and it would not be very difficult for me to trim the door sill a bit and put some lights up in there for the driver's side door and the passenger door as well, so that when the doors are open, not just the interior of the car, but the area around the door that you are about to step in will also be lit. I could change how that's done. I could mount them underneath the car right here that will only come on when the doors open, but I have to go a little over the top to make sure that there's that no water gets in on these lights, and those would be exposed at all times, whereas if I put them inside of the door, I don't have to worry about that so much. So a little bit of playing around. If I want to go to the extreme of putting them underneath the chassis and underneath the doors, I'm going to have to order some more lights. One of the other things that I wanted to do is actually do kind of the same concept with the engine bay in the hatch area, but I want to do the hatch area with white light, and that is way too bright. Hold on, let me turn this off. So inside the hatch area, possibly underneath these little areas right up here, we'll actually mount some white lights. I do already have the white lights, and I haven't been using them for anything, so it shouldn't be too difficult to put the white lights in there. And I can also mount them underneath the archway for the back door. So couple of interesting things to do there. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as how far I'm going to get tonight. Essentially, I'm just waiting for the car to cool down so I can work on the idle air control valve. That is the top priority, but I'm pretty sure that I can get these lights at least installed, maybe not, well, I'm going to say at least get the wires run tonight, and I don't know if I'll have everything connected or wired in correctly or not, but I'll have something done with the wiring tonight and the actual lights. Hopefully everything will be installed and working tonight. That might be, that would be really cool. If not, you know, it is what it is, oh well. But that's the project for tonight. Okay, so legitimately been working for almost the entire night. I had about a 30-minute break to talk to my family. I needed some advice from one of my uncles, so I had to call him. And then I talked to my brother a little bit, and that was about 30 minutes. And then I think I stopped for about an hour, hour and a half for to eat and kind of chill out for a little bit. But when I started, it was still light out, and now the light is coming from the other direction. So I've been going for a little while, just a little while, and I am still not done. There is a glowing white mass in the center of the car. That is a compact fluorescent bulb, or not a compact, it is a fluorescent light bulb that the camera just will not accept. It is too bright. But I've been fighting a few things. Where did I put that cover? There's that cover. I finally, this took me a while, but I finally got this. I wanted the lights that are going underneath the seats and underneath the dash to come on when that dome light came on. So basically when the doors open or when I hit that switch. Now the other thing that I'm doing is I'm installing a little dimmer switch, a touch-sensitive dimmer switch. That is going to be installed in this car too, and so I'm wiring in both of them, which is kind of interesting. Essentially, what it will do is it will let me dim the LEDs that are underneath the seats and underneath the dash, or completely shut them off, so that when the doors open, you have the option of whether or not those LEDs actually come on, or you can control how bright they are. And I don't know how bright they're going to be, so having the dimmer switch in there is kind of cool, because if I want to completely shut them off, which I don't really have a reason to do that, but if I wanted to, I could completely shut them off and they would be off, period. But if I wanted them to be a little bit dimmer than what they are because they're too bright and obnoxious, then the dimmer switch that I've got will fix that for me. So yeah, stuff is going on with the car. I have not touched the idle air control valve all night. I've been fighting wiring issues. That stereo, let me make sure that things can be seen. The amplifier used to be crammed up in there, and it had this horrible whine to it as the car was running, and it was a big pain in the ass. So I've actually drilled holes for the zip tie holders. These are self-anchoring zip ties. I guess they're not really, well, they are self-anchoring. I had to drill holes for the zip ties, to anchor the zip tie to the chassis of the car, so that they are not just zip tied together and kind of loosely bundled along. They are actually anchored to the chassis of the vehicle. They will not move, and most of them are like, as you guys can see, the carpet is completely taken out of the car right now. So one, they're going to be, all the wires are going to be underneath the carpet. Two, where they finally come off of the tunnel, oh geez, where they come off of the tunnel right here, don't need that, where they come off of the tunnel right here is actually after the seat, after where the seat is anchored. So luckily those wires will be completely discreet. They will not be noticeable at all, which is good. That's what I want. And again, the carpet is going to bury all of this. You won't see it. This right here is actually covered by, well, the e-brake cover doesn't go all the way down, so you won't see that. But this is the gap between the seat and the tunnel, and there's not really anything for anybody to notice there. So that'll be the one area where you could possibly realize that something is there, but you won't. You would have to actually look and feel for it. So as I've done with all wiring, anything that I had to custom wire got wrapped in red electrical tape. So you can kind of see where where I've been. Actually, that was just for me. I wanted to see where I had been. So obviously the wires coming out from underneath the or underneath the dashboard over to the amplifier were not done. I may go back and do those later. I haven't really decided yet. I don't have any more wire loom, so, and I'm gonna need more. I kind of forget that I have to use the phone as a microphone. I could take the camera out of the dive case, but it's a big hassle. I don't know. I'm not really being lazy. I promise I'm not being lazy, but the dive case is really easy to use for when I am actually hanging the camera off of the sun visor. So I like to go ahead and use the dive case, but it is what it is. I have to use an external microphone, and my cell phone is the microphone, and I keep forgetting that I have to move the cell phone to a place where it will actually pick up my voice. So sorry if the audio quality sucks. I'm working on that, but the YouTube channel is not at a point where I can drop $300 or $400 on a nicer camera. So I like this camera. It's a really nice camera, though. That said, I am out of split loom, so I am going to either have to redo the wires that travel underneath the tunnel later, or I may just leave them because obviously they were a custom run. That is not a Honda factory amplifier, so I think anybody that looks at it, it's going to be like, oh, this was actually run, this wasn't stock. Some people are stupid, okay? That said, I've only got 3 hours left. I'm supposed to be at Nathan's house at 8:30. It's 5:07, so I'm gonna get back to it. Yeah, I just thought it was funny that the sun is coming up again. I watched it go dark, and now I'm watching it get lighter. And
what is up, everyone? I know there's not a whole lot on the screen, but I'm getting to that. Very happy with the project and how it turned out. Yes, I know I need to lubricate the door hinges, but I'll get to that. There are quite a few things that I need to get to, and I will get to them in due time. But I'm very happy with this project as far as how the lights came out. I don't know how well it's going to come out until I go through video editing to see exactly what they look like on the big screen, or what your computer screen will look like, phone, whatever. That said, all of the time that I put into to gutting and rewiring the interior of the car so that I could get it back to this state, or to get it to this state, well worth it. I'm pleased with the effort. I will say that I massively underestimated the amount of time that this was going to take, but I wanted it to be as close to perfect as possible. I wanted it to look like this was an option from the factory that got installed by factory, and for the most part, I met that goal. Most of what doesn't look like factory can't be seen at all, anyways. So that's not that's not super important. And I wasn't on short notice or short idea notice. I wasn't able to find like nice connections and clips and pre-cut lengths of lights and things like that. So there was definitely some fabrication work that went into it, but nothing is no wires are twisted together and electrical taped. So everything is actually done with a set of quality, and there shouldn't be any problems. No shorts or anything like that. Everything was done to a pretty high standard as far as I'm concerned. And I used to build cars, so As far as what a factory would consider an appropriate standard, I did all right. Like I said, I don't have I don't have connections on each of the wires. Like I don't know. I don't have neat connectors. Everything is connected together, and like things like the seats. There are connectors, but they're obviously not factory connectors. Underneath the driver's seat actually is a factory connection, but the passenger seat, what's underneath the passenger seat, is not a factory connection. And then the lights that are underneath the dashboard, there's no connection. It's hardwired in, so that would not be something that was acceptable by factory standards, but that is all right. At a factory, everything but the frame itself is capable of being disconnected and removed, and that is the one area that I did not really follow. But I'm not super concerned about that. I don't really need that to be removed. If it wasn't for the fact that I am leaving for Japan, I would continue on and persist with the ideal of I will be the one and only last owner for this vehicle. But that's not the case. I'm actually the second owner of this vehicle. On paperwork, I'm the third because my mother bought this car. So on paper, she became the second owner, and then it was gifted to me. But I've been the one of two primary operators for this vehicle. The guy who bought this car originally from the dealership, he had it for 6 years, and then I got it. Is it 6 years? I think it was 6 years. And then I got this car, and I've had it for, 12, twice that long. And my original statement was that I would see this car crushed. Either it would be wrecked and totaled, and thus sent off to a scrapyard, or I would kill the motor so many times that there were no more motors on the planet to install in the car. And so far, I've only been able to kill one. Damn. That said, this car is actually going through quite a bit more restoration work than I was originally planning. I suppose you guys are done looking at the lights, huh? I was not really intending to do the whole 100 yards. Screw the 9 yards. I went a lot further than 9 yards for this car. The suspension is new. The engine is... I don't have an exact mileage on the engine. Supposedly, it's between 60 and 70,000, maybe 80,000 miles on the engine. So the chassis has already seen almost 300,000. This is the second motor. I have no idea about the transmission, but those are freshly installed and everything's good on them. Not everything. I got to redo the. I have to rebuild the idle air control valve, but that's really not that big of a deal. I just have been putting it off because of how little importance it actually has. And then I think I'm going to replace the OBD2 sensor, the rear OBD2 sensor, but that's time. That's time and money, and right now I don't have a whole lot of either. I'm pretty much running out of time for here at the house. I'm going to be moving out this week. Yay! Because I only have until, not this Friday, but next Friday to get out of the house. So I have to be gone by 9 a.m. on the 16th. So essentially I have to be gone by midnight on the 15th. That is the objective anyways. I'll probably be out a couple of days before that just because I don't want to run down to the last wire, which means a lot of my stuff is going to be given away because people haven't shown an interest in buying it, and that's cool. I have 2 dressers that I haven't put up, and then I have a California King bed that I haven't listed either. Mostly because I don't want to stop sleeping in the bed. I like the bed. But
that said, dressers in the bed need to go online, get sold. That's for the best anyways. And then I'll be out of this house, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm more looking forward to what it means to be out of the house, the end result of getting out of the house. But I liked having my own house, and it was definitely nice. So anyways, that's about it. I've already got quite a bit of recorded footage for this video, so I'm going to stop that here, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
Please